This episode will be completely taken out of context. Welcome to the Fact Check This podcast.
All right, fact check this. And last week I was going to talk about Popper's paradox of tolerance, but I've already done that before. And even though that's a topic that I could probably do multiple hours talking about, I didn't really feel like talking about it again it just didn't feel like I was going to add anything significant. And also I just haven't been feeling great with all of the health problems and stuff. And so I decided to take a week off and try to find something better. And something better happened to fall in my lap. And it coincidentally happens to come right around the time when we have the elections and stuff. And New York just elected Zoran Mamdani, who is the Muslim super socialist. He is the left keeps calling him he's a democratic socialist. Like, the dude's a full-on fucking communist. I don't care what you like, how you want to paint it. It's and they're basically the same thing with different steps. So in light of that, I happened to stumble upon this interesting little article from the Free Press. Now, I've never heard of the Free Press before. I signed up for the free subscription so I could read this article. And as soon as I signed up for the free subscription, it asked me what I was interested in, like what news topics and stuff, and anti-Semitism and all kinds of other stuff, like all of the big, leftist buzzwords were all over it. So I assume that the rest of this, the Free Press is all just leftard nonsense. But this article in particular was an interesting read. So we're going to hop right into it, and it gives the title of today's shows, Blue State Blues. And this is by River Page, who says, "I'm a social democrat who campaigned for Bernie, and I miss living in a red state. A junkie was screaming outside my apartment the day New York State stopped me from buying vape juice online. I was surprised. Not by the screaming, of course. I'd lived in New York for 2 months by that point, and the racket had started almost immediately when we were unpacking our lives out of cardboard boxes to the soundtrack of a man screaming faggot outside our window. My husband and I were surprised that someone had clocked us from outside the building, even though we were wearing tank tops. But apparently, it was just some kind of bum fight." I like this author and the way this is written, and that's pretty impressive. It went on for nearly an hour. The state of New York hadn't stopped that, nor had it stopped my husband from buying weed gummies online the week earlier. So I was surprised when the state of New York stopped me, a law-abiding taxpayer, from getting my perfectly legal nicotine fix online, something I'd done in Florida for years. I'm a social democrat who campaigned for Bernie Sanders. You might think I'd feel more at home in a blue state like New York than in southern red states I lived in for my entire life until 7 months ago. But I don't. I hate it here, and I want to go back. Here's the difference. In a red state, the government doesn't care about you. For example, when I lost my job in Florida during COVID, I gave up on applying for unemployment benefits because, as Governor Ron DeSantis himself admitted, the website set up to process the claims had been intentionally designed with pointless roadblocks meant to frustrate unemployed Floridians into giving up their opportunity to receive benefits. Wow, I ran into that same thing when I lost my job during COVID in 2020. Amazing, isn't it? Florida has also refused to expand Medicaid coverage under Obamacare, even though 90% of the costs would be covered by the federal government. Red states may hardly help their citizens, but the upside is that they usually don't bother them either. New York has bothered me since I got here. I love the rest of this because it's It is a foray into a social leftist learning that the nanny state leftism wants is actually a massive pain in the ass for the average, like, decent contributing tax paying, has a job American. After 7 months of living in a blue state, I've come to the conclusion that the guiding principle of the Democratic Party isn't really lukewarm welfarism combined with social liberalism. Instead, it's paternalism for the law-abiding masses and permissiveness for society's antisocial underbelly. In other words, living in a blue state means that the government treats you like a child and does everything in its power to make your life just a little more annoying and inconvenient, unless you start openly smoking crack on the street. I love that this is like how this guy figures this out. It's the little things that get to you. In Florida, if you go to the grocery store, you get a little plastic bag to carry your stuff in. That's illegal here because New York has decided to save the planet. And you can tell from this, New York has decided to save the planet, that this dude is obviously not on board with the needing to ban all plastics in order to prevent the polar ice caps from melting or whatever nonsense they're running with, the environmentalists are running with this week. Since moving here, I have obtained approximately 3 million reusable polyester bags because I keep forgetting that I'm supposed to be saving the world when I go to the grocery store without them. Ironically, the illegal single-use plastic bags I used to get from the grocery store were actually reused by me to line little bins in the bathroom, to clean out the litter box. Now, I'm forced to purchase such bags on Amazon, where I actually only use them once. Crazy how that works, isn't it? They add these things that are supposed to, because nobody uses the plastic Walmart sack just as a plastic Walmart sack for that one-time use. You line trash cans with them. You scoop you scoop the shit out of your litter box, out of your cat's litter box into them. Like, you use them, you put stuff in them and tie them up and set them in they get used for other things. Not only that, but coming from the plastic recycling industry that I worked in for a number of years, plastic bags, like Walmart bags, are 100% completely and totally useless to recyclers. They have no value. They are a plastic Walmart sack takes 33 years to break down. No, it fucking doesn't. They're effectively, they're not much better than paper. Like, if you leave a plastic Walmart sack just laying out in the sun for a few weeks, it will effectively dissolve into nothing. They are little better than paper. The plastic recycling industry has absolutely no use for those bags whatsoever because they have no plastic. They're plastic in name only. Like, these are the things that they claim are destroying the environment while they're very clearly not. And like, you can just set them on fire and they're gone. That's it. There's nothing to them. We would be better off to just be burning these things in and continuing to use them because I guarantee you the bags that he is having to buy from Amazon for waste bins and for cleaning out his litter box and stuff like that, those are single-use bags and they're a higher grade of plastic. So they actually do have that long lifespan of sitting in a dump or something somewhere, not breaking down for not 33 years or whatever it is that they say for the plastic bag, but it's more like in the 20 to 25 year range. Like, environmentalism does all of the opposite of what it claims to do. And like, this guy is kind of finding that out the hard way, I guess. Of course, there's still freedom of choice in New York. If you don't want to buy reusable polyester bags, you can get a flimsy paper one on a mandatory 5-cent fee meant to encourage you to bring the reusable bag next time. Ostensibly, this is an effort of social engineering, But has anyone ever been moved to action by 5 cents? No. I can only conclude that this exercise in futility is actually some kind of tiny veiled humiliation exercise, and I'm not kinky enough to consent. But of course, like you and all other law-abiders, I do participate in this freaky little charade. You will leave the store with the flimsy, overfilled paper bag. You will be 5 cents poorer for no good reason. And you will waddle onto the train platform, struggling not to spill it, as a Democratic assemblyman watches you with binoculars from the bushes, whispering, yeah, just like that, to himself. Or so I presume. Perhaps once you get onto the train platform, you will encounter the police there, like I did recently. The platform was empty, save for me and a dumpy gal in blue standing 15 feet away who wandered over. No smoking on the platform. Oh, it's fine, I reassured her. It's a vape. Same thing. If you do it again, you'll have to leave. I rolled my eyes. It isn't the same. Most studies show vaping is less harmful than smoking, which is why people do it, because if that weren't the case, nobody would. The anti-vaping crowd doesn't understand just how much better a real cigarette is. But I digress. It shouldn't have mattered. We were outside. Nobody was around. In Florida, they let me vape in Target. It was technically against the rules, but no one seemed to mind. See where the like nanny state of these blue states, where it's everything is overly controlled by the government, is just a constant nuisance. I hopped on the train and got hustled by a homeless guy for money. I made eye contact with the train conductor, who did nothing. The hobo, who almost certainly hadn't paid for a ticket as I had, looked out of his mind, so I gave him $3 to piss off. He told me he protected people with some sort of Obeah magic, and he deserved $30 for his services. I told him no way. He walked away muttering something. Presumably, I am now cursed, and the other shoe will drop any day. Believe it or not, this was not the last straw. That came 2 weeks ago when I realized it was October and I'd forgotten to get jacked. I'm pushing 30 and had decided in the new year that it was not dignified for a man of my age to be scrawny like some kind of drug addict. Plus, there was only so much time. Soon my testosterone levels would drop and getting swole would be impossible without little shots of pharmaceutical tea that would shrink my balls and make me break things in the kitchen in a fit of synthetic hormonal rage. I told the pit of my stomach that the move from Florida to New York had thrown off my routine. A good excuse, I had decided, but there was still time. What I needed was some protein powder. I found a deal online, bought 2 big tubs to meet the free shipping minimum, and whipped out my credit card. And then the problem started. The shipping, GNC told me, would not be free. There would be a delivery charge because the mailman needed to verify my ID upon delivery. The money wasn't the issue here. Like most Americans with a job, I'm not home when the mail comes. I was annoyed and even more confused. I checked the cart. Had I accidentally purchased Oxycontin? Did the protein powder have meth in it? What the hell was going on? The source of my protein-related woes, apparently, is Assembly Bill A5610D, a New York State bill signed by Governor Kathy Hochul in 2023 that prohibits the sale of over-the-counter diet pills and dietary supplements for weight loss or muscle building to people under 18. The bill is supposed to exclude protein powder unless it includes an ingredient other than protein intended to build muscle. Was GNC just being extra cautious in order to avoid falling afoul of this ridiculous law, or had I missed something? Whatever the case, it means I have to jump through hoops to buy protein powder online, all to prevent the possibility of out-of-shape teens in New York State from purchasing something that might help them get healthy. I think that might be, as I said before, this is a very well-written article, and I like the whole thing. I like the way the author did it, but that might be the best line of the whole thing. Whatever the case, it means I have to jump through hoops to buy protein powder online, all to prevent the possibility of out-of-shape teens in New York State from purchasing something that might help them get healthy. It's the little things that break you, the small inconveniences that litter your life, Blue states have 1 million of them, and the world is no better for it. My politics haven't changed. I'm still a hopeless libtard on social issues. I still support labor unions. I still want Medicare for all, but I want my dignity and sanity too. I would rather be ignored than annoyed. I'd rather live in a red state than a blue one. This was really interesting. And I wonder about this sort of thing, because I complained about shit when I lived up north. Like I lived in about 30 miles north of Philly, right across the river from Trenton, New Jersey, because the plant that I ran when I was up there was about 3 miles south of Trenton. So, and it was cheaper to live on the Pennsylvania side than to live on the New Jersey side. Holy shit. Just for tax purposes alone, it was a better deal. So anyway, not to mention like what rent, like apartment rents and stuff were on one side versus the other. Anyway, like there were so many things when I lived up there that I would like gripe about actively all the time. It's like, what the fuck? Why do we do this? Why are you having to do this? Like, what's the point of this? And the people there would just look at me like I was crazy. Like, this is just like normal. What do you mean? I'm like, no, this shit isn't normal. Like, you shouldn't have to jump through all of these hoops for ridiculous bullshit. Like, just to buy a pack of cigarettes or to buy a can of dip, or like the different the way that they do package stores and stuff, and like the government restrictions on alcohol and different stuff, and like everything about just in New Jersey, you can't pump your own gas. Like I would drive around to find a gas station where I could pump my own gas, because I don't want somebody, like, I don't mind, I don't guess, but I don't want somebody else pumping my gas. Like I want to do that. That's anyway. And it's just, and it like he says in this article, it's little things, but they drive you fucking insane. Like, it was a cool place to visit, but not somewhere I wanted to live. And living there for a year was just infuriating. And like, but all the people that yes, Jersey is America's armpit. Like, literally, just look at the way the map is shaped. But like the people that lived there, that had lived there all their life, they were just like, oh, what do you mean? That's just normal. Like, this shit isn't fucking normal. You shouldn't have to deal with this fucking shit. I wonder how many people, if more people, like hardcore leftists who live in red states, would move to a place like New York or California or like Portland, somewhere like that, like a legitimately leftist place, and see what the things that they want actually look like in practice. How many of them would be like this guy and be like, I would rather live in a red state and be ignored and feel like the government doesn't care about me than live in a blue state where the government still doesn't care about me, but they add 1 million fucking rules and regulations to make my life fucking miserable. Like, it's an interesting thing. I would be interested to see more case studies like that, where take a leftist, put them in a New York City or something similar, and see how long it takes them, like a red state leftist, and see how long it takes them before they realize this is literally hell. I don't know why I ever wanted it, and I don't want it anymore. I mean, as a right-winger, living in a liberal hell was absolutely fucking miserable. I can't. And I knew what I was getting myself into, and I did it for the money because I'm a fucking idiot. And God, they paid me a lot of money. But yeah, it would be interesting to see, I think. I think you're wrong, Jay. They would live in a city and not notice. Indianapolis, Nashville, Orlando, like red state cities, other than maybe Atlanta, Memphis to some extent, but even Memphis, not so much. Like red state cities are so much different from Philly, Trenton, New York, like blue state cities. Yes, they are still cities, but there is a massive difference. And I think these red state leftists, if they were put in a blue state city, would see that difference and be similarly turned off to what the nanny state that they think they want actually means in practice. That'll do it for today. I'm not talking about the election stuff. If you want to hear that, I talked about it on Peddling Fiction with Johnny yesterday. So you can check out yesterday's Peddling Fiction. It's on my Facebook. It's on Peddling Fiction on the Peddling Fiction YouTube channel and also on the Peddling Fiction Rumble. So if you want my opinions on yesterday's election results, you can check it out there. God damn it. I should be back next week. All things go well. I think, and I do have a couple other articles that I had looked at. I ended up going with this one for today's show because it seemed a little more time appropriate with the election having just happened and New York electing Mamdani and all of that stuff. So, but I do have a couple other articles that I thought were interesting. I'll pick one of those for next week. I'm probably not going to do Popper's Paradox of Tolerance again, at least not until after the new year. I know I did it at some point last year, and I do want to talk more about it, but it's one of those things that I would rather talk about with other people and have a conversation about than just me read 4 different articles about it and talk about it solo. So I'll try to work on organizing something like that. And like I said, after the first of the year, because I don't really intend on doing any panel shows until after I've had my surgery and I'm like on the mend and feeling better, because week to week, I don't know if I'm going to feel up for this or not. So once I'm healed, then I'll get a group together and we'll dig in together on Popper's Paradox of Tolerance. But that'll do it for today. I will be back next week with what was it? There was one that really caught me as a good one, and I thought about doing it today, but then this one seemed a little more fitting. Let's see. Oh, yes, it was an Atlantic article called "Why Do Rich People Love Quiet?" Top notch. I mean, excellent article. Hilarious for me and for those of you who listen to me. Well, you'll really enjoy that. So that'll be next week. Why do rich people enjoy quiet? I can give you 3 hints, but you only need 1. It's racism. Catch you next week.